Namaste. Before following any advice or practices suggested in this video, it is always recommended that you consult with your doctor as to its suitability, especially if you suffer from any health problems or special conditions. Yamajit, John Hollinsby Mayer, and Tridevi Chamunda Mandir cannot accept any responsibility for any injuries or damages incurred as a result of the exercises and meditations contained in this video. Namaste, and welcome to Tridevi Chamunda Mandir in Denver, Colorado. I'm Yamajit, and thank you for joining me this evening. And just looking at who we might have joining us this evening. Nice. Namaste to Susan and Rafa. I just want to take a quick look at that message, and thank you for your blessings. So I'd like to begin with a few announcements. So this coming Thursday is Maha Shivaratri, the great night of Lord Shiva. We're not actually doing anything that particular night here at Tridevi Chamunda Mandir, but another temple, Shiva Sai Mandir, will be doing observances all through the night, and I highly encourage everyone to access their broadcasts. You can get the link by going onto their website, which is shivamandir.org. And then Friday the 12th, to kind of end the Shivaratri festival, our Friday night puja will be a special puja for Ma Chamunda and Lord Yama. Lord Yama being the Lord of the death and the underworld, really the personification of Shiva's aspect as destroyer. And traditionally, I have done this puja at midnight on Shivaratri, and of course, because of the rather strange conditions that we're in right now, I decided to do it here as a broadcast from this temple. Today marks the first of a new series of yoga sequences and meditations. We're going to continue with the theme of the 7 chakras, only now I'd like to do a series of sequences based on chair yoga. And that way, those of you who use the recordings of these broadcasts for their own practice, you'll have some choice as to which style of yoga might best suit you. So tonight, we're going to begin with the first chakra, the root chakra, also known as Muladhara. And I'd like to say just a little bit about that before we begin. So typically, very often you'll hear that the first chakra is at the base of the spine. Actually, it tends to be set more in the area of the perineum, between the genital tract and the anus. So that area, especially in men, women, really the top of the cervix. And additionally, this chakra would be associated with the coccygeal nerve plexus, and also being of the earth element. The first chakra is associated with the skeletal system and the other rigid structures of the body. I mentioned that it's associated with the earth element. So it's of the 5 senses, its corresponding sense is the sense of smell, and perfume in a typical puja is the offering for the earth element. And just to describe some conditions that can be associated with the first chakra. So any problems in the legs, feet, the anus, the lower body, something that I learned during my college years taking a course in embryology is the legs are actually an outgrowth of the pelvic girdle. And so everything from the pelvic floor down is associated with the earth element and the first chakra. Other first chakra conditions would include sciatica, eating disorders, constipation, really anything to do with the lower bowel, including spastic colon, fears and insecurities, especially those fears of not having enough money, fears around a job, or instability in general, uh, feelings of not being safe, the inability for a person to focus and sit still is considered a first chakra issue, as is lacking energy, feeling ungrounded, not feeling secure or safe, and lethargy in general. So, if you experience any of these symptoms, hopefully this sequence and meditation may be of some help to you. So we're going to begin with a very simple puja. So we're working in sacred space. And I invite you also to have the necessary props together, some kind of chair where you can sit comfortably with a straight back. You may also want to supplement cushions, folded blankets. If you have a yoga block, we're going to be doing a seated forward bend, and having this on the floor may be very useful to you. It can be positioned in a number of ways so that your hands can better reach the floor. If you don't have a block, other things like a sturdy small wooden box or even a book or stack of books can work in its place. So I'll say a bit more about that following the opening puja. And again, namaste to Rafa and Susan, and anyone else who's joining us. If you please feel free to say a quick hello using the chat function. So I invite you to sit and make yourself comfortable for our opening. Bringing the palms of your hands together at your heart center. Close your eyes for a moment. And we'll open our practice tonight by chanting the syllable Om 3 times. Inhale. Om. Om. Inhale and exhale. Slowly open your eyes. Om. Pavitra Pavitrova Sarvadastam Gatopiva Yashmare Pandarikaksham Savyadyanta Sushi. Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah. Jai Ganesha. Om Sri Gurubhyo Namah. Jai Guru. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Kalse. Patona Namah. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shiva Savada Sadike Saranye Trambake Devi Naryane Namostute. Jema Devi. Om Jayanti Mangalakali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Shama Shiva Datri Svasvada Namostute. Jayatvam Devi Chamunde Jayabhutita Harani Jai Sarvagati Devi Kalaratri Namostute. And for our puja offerings, we'll be using the single syllable bij mantras for the chakras. As part of our puja tonight, I'd like to remember our friend Lapita, who is still in hospital at this time, and also anyone else who is in need of healing energy at this point. Lam Vam Ramyam Ham Om. 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 Jema. So I invite you to sit in your chair. And even in the beginning, some props may be useful. So if your feet don't quite reach the floor, a cushion or folded blanket may be useful. Likewise, if you're sitting kind of low on the chair, putting some kind of padding, again, a folded blanket or cushion under your seat may also be useful. Placing your feet flat on the floor, feet about hip distance apart, resting your hands comfortably on your knees, closing your eyes, and breathing deeply. We begin our practices with a short, deep breathing meditation. Because breath is the emphasis, is really the basis of yoga. When we make an opening or expansive move, we breathe in. When we bend or contract, we exhale. And the breath is the simplest of all mantras. Mantra we repeat roughly 21,000 times every day. But as you breathe, let go of the cares of the day, the thoughts of past and future. And let this time be for yourself. A time for rest, for relaxation, for healing, centering. And also becoming closer to that divine emphasis or that divine presence within. If it feels right, you can make a short intention for our practice. Maybe focusing upon some small aspect of your life that is ready for transformation or healing. And then slowly opening your eyes and just taking a moment to feel the effects of the practice thus far, just how you feel after this simple act of staying still and breathing. And then scooting a little bit toward the end of the chair and straightening both legs. Keeping a slight bend to the knees, not locking the knees. And inhale, spreading the toes. And exhale, flexing the toes. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Doing 3 more. And then inhale, pointing the toes. See if I can point at the best camera angle for that. Pointing the toes. And exhale, bringing the toes up toward the ceiling. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. And 3 more. So in honoring the first chakra, we're going to work a lot with the lower extremities and also with poses that center around stability and balance. So you can scoot back a little further on the chair and grabbing your right leg behind the knee, raising the leg. You could also use a strap or a belt to help with that if necessary. And inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Let's do 3 more. Good. And then making circles at the knee. And reverse. Good. And then crossing over, rolling the ankle, first forwards, and then backwards. And then picking up the lower leg and making circles at the hip. Just warming up that hip joint. And reverse. Good. And then keeping the leg crossed over. Inhale, nice and tall. And exhale, hinging at the hip, coming forward. Feeling a nice stretch in that right hip, keeping the back straight, breathing. Coming as far as body and breath allows. Going as far as is comfortable for you. Coming deeper into the pose as you breathe, if that feels right. And then inhale, pressing back up. So this last one was a seated version of Kapotanasana or pigeon. And returning your foot to the mat. Take a couple of breaths. And then picking up the left leg, and we're going to repeat the same series. So inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Let's do 3 more. Good. And then making circles at the knee. And reverse. Good. And then crossing over again. Rolling the ankle. And reverse. And then picking up the lower leg and making circles now with the left hip. And reversing. And then crossing over again. Inhaling tall. And hinging at the hips, coming forward. Back is straight, breathing. Finding the depth in the pose that feels comfortable for you. And then inhale, coming back up. And bringing the foot back to the floor. And just taking a couple of breaths. And then separating the knees and sitting up straight. This may help if, again, you're closer to the edge of the chair. If this is going to be a forward fold, so you may want to have something on the floor like a cushion or block or folded blanket so you can reach. But inhale tall. Exhale, relax. Bringing the palms of your hands together at heart center. Inhale, raising the arms overhead, just a slight back bend. And exhale, swan diving down, bringing the hands to the mat. Breathing and coming as deep into the pose again as is comfortable for you as an individual. And then as you inhale, coming up slowly, as if you're stacking one vertebra at a time, rolling the shoulders back, bringing the hands to your knees, sitting up straight, breathing and slowly opening your eyes. If your eyes are closed, and again, just feeling the effects. So we're going to do a little bit of a shift here, just to warm up the spine a bit more. Move it in 6 possible directions. So we're going to do some rounds first of seated cat-cow. Inhaling tall and exhale, hinging at the hips, bringing the chest and chin forward. And exhale, coming back, collapsing the chest, bringing the chin to the chest. Inhale forward. Exhale back, just nice, slow, fluid movements. Back and forth. Keeping both sits bones in place, feet flat on the mat. And inhale, coming to neutral. Scooting back a little on the chair if you're kind of forward. Inhale, raising the right hand overhead. Exhale, grabbing the hand either on the seat of the chair or perhaps on the frame, just finding a nice stable place for the hand. Inhale, windmilling the left arm around, keeping the shoulder back, keeping both sits bones in place. Breathing and flexing gently to the right. And inhale, pressing up. Coming back to center, taking a couple of breaths. And inhale, raising the left arm overhead. Exhale, finding a stable place for the hand. Inhale, rotating now the right arm, flexing to the right, keeping the shoulders back again, but sits bones in place and breathing. And inhale, coming up back to center. And taking a couple of breaths. Finding that nice, stable, seated position again. And then inhale, raising the left arm overhead. Exhale, bringing it to the right knee. Inhale, kickstanding the right arm around, grabbing the back of the chair. Twisting gently to the right. Turning the head to look over the left shoulder. And then inhale and exhale, coming forward. Take a couple of breaths. And then inhale, raising the right arm overhead. Exhale, bringing it to the left knee. Inhale, kickstanding the right arm around. And breathing, twisting to the left. Turning the head, looking over the right shoulder. And then inhale, exhale, coming back to center. Take a couple of breaths. A couple of props here for our next one. So now I invite you to separate the knees again, especially bringing the right knee directly to your right. For our next three poses, you can hold this position if that's most comfortable for you, or you can bring the left leg back, so you're now in a lunge. And turn to the right. Inhale, bringing the arms overhead to warrior one. Take a couple of breaths. And then inhale, bring the right arm forward, left arm back to warrior two. And then inhale, exhale, bringing the right forearm to your knee, winding the left arm around, and finding extended side angle. Breathing. And then inhale, coming back up to center, rotating the knees around, coming back so you're facing forward, taking a couple of breaths. And then separating the knees. So the left knee is going directly to your left. Again, you can rotate the right leg to make that lunge. Now facing left. Inhale, arms overhead. Warrior one. Left arm forward, right arm back. Warrior two. Bringing the left forearm to the knee. rotating that right arm around and finding side angle and breathing. Inhale, slowly pressing back up. Bringing yourself back to neutral, whichever way is safest for you. And taking a couple of breaths. We're now going to come to standing. And we're going to use the chair to help in balancing. So we're going to place the chair to our right. Our feet should be hip width apart. Very slight bend to the knees not locked. Rolling the shoulders back, looking straight ahead. And finding mountain pose. You can have one hand on the back of the chair for stability, if that feels right. Breathing. And then bringing your right hand to the chair, making some small adjustments if you need to, because you're going to be transferring your weight to your right leg. Looking straight ahead, finding a still place on the wall to focus your gaze. This will help with balance. Transfer your weight without locking the right knee, so it's easy to move the left foot around. And then you can either kickstand the left foot against your right ankle, or you can bring it up further on the leg and inhale, arm overhead, and finding tree pose, Vrikshasana. And then inhale and exhale, slowly coming out of the pose. Rolling the shoulders back, palms forward. Once again, finding mountain. Again, you can focus on that still place on the opposite wall. You can also have your hand on the chair for stability, if that feels right. And then we're going to transfer the chair to the other side. And looking straight ahead, fixing your gaze on that still spot on the wall, keeping just a very slight bend to the knees, making some little adjustments with the chair as it feels right to do so. And transferring your weight now to the left leg so it's easy to pick up and move the right foot. And then either kickstanding the right foot against the left ankle or bringing it up a little bit on the lower leg. And inhale, raising the right arm overhead, growing our trees and breathing. And then inhale, exhale, coming out of the pose, coming back into mountain. And just feeling the stability of the mountain. And then turning the chair so the seat is to one side. You also have it ahead of you. Turning to face the chair, bringing your hands onto your hips and bringing your right foot to the chair. So So it's resting on the heel. Again, slight bend to the right knee to protect the joint. And inhale. Exhale, hinging at the hips, coming forward, making a nice stretch to the back of the leg. Just a nice little runner stretch. This one is particularly good for those of us who might be experiencing sciatica. And then inhale, coming up, bringing your foot back to the mat, and just resting for a moment in mountain. If there's some issues balancing, you could even have another chair to your right or left to help with stability. Bringing your hands to your hips, bringing the foot to the chair, resting on the heel, keeping a slight bend to the knee. Inhale, tall, and exhale, hinging at the hip, coming forward, and feeling that nice stretch on the back of the left leg now. And inhale, coming up. Exhale, bringing the foot back to the mat. Roll the shoulders back. One more mountain pose. And then one more pose, and there's a couple of variations. One, if you feel comfortable sitting on the floor, you can place a cushion on the chair. Bring your head to the cushion, arms forward, breathing. This is a variation of seated child's pose, or another variation of that is, if this feels better for you, sitting in the chair and just simply bringing your elbows to your knees and resting your forehead in your hands. But just take a moment to breathe deeply and relax. Just letting go. Feeling safe and secure. And then inhale, coming up slowly. Again, finding simple sitting in the chair, feet flat on the floor, back straight, knees about hip width apart, and preparing for our meditation. So I invite you to close your eyes and resume the same slow, deep yogic breathing that we began our practice with at the start of the sequence. Letting the belly expand and contract with each breath, bringing air even to the bottoms of the lungs. And I invite you now to scan the body and just notice any areas of physical tension. And I invite you to focus your breath and your attention to those areas of tension. And as you inhale, bring in relaxation to those physical areas that are still tense. And then as you exhale, feel as if you are pushing those energies downwards through your legs, down through your feet, and just grounding that tension energy down into the earth. Just breathing away those tensions and putting them into the ground. Just let those tensions flow out as like water going down a drain. And now I invite you in your mind's eye. Actually, before we do that, just keep breathing and just take inventory again. And just begin to notice if there's any tensions on a mental or emotional level. And again, breathe relaxation in through the in-breath. And let the tensions drain away with the out-breath, down, down, down through the hips, through the legs, through the feet, into the earth. Again, just give those tensions, give those energies to the earth. And you can even use your imagination, your mind's eye to visualize those energies being drained from you and going into the ground. And replaced with the energy of harmony with each in-breath. And maybe you begin to notice your shoulders beginning to relax and your arms relaxing. Less tension in the neck and the jaw and around the eyes and forehead. Less tension in the chest, in the abdomen, the hips, the thighs, the knees, the calves. And you finally notice your fingers and toes becoming very relaxed and just very limp. And now in your mind's eye, I invite you to visualize the symbol of the earth element. It is a golden cube, heavy and dense in nature. And continue your breathing, focusing on the cube. And just be aware of anything that comes into your awareness as you do this visualization. thoughts, feelings, ideas, whatever they are. Just let them manifest in a nice, safe distance so you can witness them in a non-attached manner. And then just let them pass away naturally. That's something going on in the periphery right now. You're just really focused on that cube. And the energies of the earth element, bringing you groundedness and stability, a sense of safety, and a sense of trust. And so now I invite you to take a deep and clearing breath. And just let go of the visualization of the cube. And now we're going to focus on a mantra with each in-breath and out-breath. So as you inhale, I invite you to mentally repeat the syllable Lam, which is for the root chakra. And exhale, mentally repeating Lam. Just inhaling Lam and exhaling Lam. And as we breathe and as we silently chant, just allowing yourself to be aware of the experiences surrounding, focusing on the breath and the mantra at the same time. So what kind of energies does Lam have? What kind of feelings does it convey? Any ideas again, any mental pictures, any thoughts? Again, just let them come and let them go. And then taking another deep and clearing breath. And bringing your awareness now to the pelvic floor, the area of the perineum, the base of the spine, the bottom of the abdomen. And now as you inhale, I invite you to tighten the pelvic floor and your anal sphincter. Hold for a moment and then relax. Let go. Inhale, tighten. Exhale, let go. Inhale, tighten. Exhale, let go. And just repeat this a few times. And again, just be aware of whatever experiences accompany this. So we're using Mulband in conjunction with the breath. You can even try using the mantra LAM again with each inhalation and exhalation if that feels right. And then take another deep and clearing breath. And just relax the pelvic floor. Just continue the deep breathing and just be aware of the effects of our practice thus far. And then, while breathing again into the pelvic floor, just focusing on that area with your breath. And just be aware of whatever comes into your realm of awareness as you focus on this area. Again, just witness what manifests from a safe distance. Letting things come, letting things go. And just observing from a different perspective, just from a nice safe distance. And then letting your breath and awareness expand downwards to include your hips and your thighs and your knees and your shins and your calves and your ankles and your feet and your toes. Now just breathing in and out through the whole lower extremities and just being aware of what that experience invokes for you. And again, just silently witness. If you notice any kinds of tensions, you can breathe those out again like we've done before. And then taking a nice, deep, and clearing breath. Bringing your awareness and your breath now to the center of your heart. And just rest in a place of stillness and silence. And feeling the effects of our practice and our meditation. You can also think of something in the near future, something that will require you handling that situation in a very grounded, stable manner. And just imagine yourself handling that situation in a new and more harmonious and stable way. And then slowly bringing the palms of your hands together at your heart center. Letting your breath return to normal. And listening to the words of our benediction. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Giving thanks to that divine presence within and without. Giving gratitude to yourself for taking part in our practice this evening. Letting your eyes slowly open. And namaste. And thank you so very much for joining me this evening. So what I shared with you was a sampler of meditations, all for the root chakra. So focusing on the mantra Lam, on the tattva symbol for the earth element, having your feet upon the ground and just letting any unwanted energies flow out of you through your feet down into the earth. Contracting and relaxing Mul Bandh in harmony with the breath. And just the simple act of breathing and focusing on the area or areas, in this case, the pelvic floor, the hips, the legs, the whole lower extremities. And just being aware of what doing that invokes for you, what just comes into your awareness, just witnessing it from a distance. So in your own individual practices, I invite you, you can do them all in succession like we did, or you can do a couple or three of them maybe together at the same time, breathing into the area, maybe imagining the cube and repeating the mantra. But I invite you to experiment with these meditations either on their own or in combination. And that's something we'll be doing throughout this series as we go through the chakras, as I'll try and share different meditations that can be useful for each of these energy centers. So again, I thank you for joining me. I do have one other announcement. This will be for the last Tuesday of the month. And this is something that I've been requested to do by a couple of people, one person here in the US and another in India. They both, completely independently of each other, suggested that maybe once a month I have a little question and answer segment at the end of one of the broadcasts. So last Tuesday of March, I'm going to message everybody a Zoom link, and we'll have a little Zoom meeting, maybe for about 30 minutes after our Tuesday satsang, so maybe about 8:15. And you're welcome to say hello and ask any questions, and we can discuss any range of topics that just might feel right to talk about for that evening. So definitely looking forward to that as well. So again, thank you for being here. Blessings always. Have a wonderful night and a wonderful couple of days ahead. I look forward to seeing you, hopefully during the Shiva Mandir Shivaratri broadcast on Thursday night, and seeing you and join me on Friday for our Chamunda and Yama Puja. So again, Jai Ma, and good night. And thank you.